What's up, everybody? Got a brand new build for you today. We're going to be focusing on Sentinel Titan. This isn't going to be the greatest Sentinel Titan build in the world. It's just what I'm using to have a little fun, goof around a bit. And yeah, that's basically going to be the whole idea. So starting off, we're going to be on Doomfang Pauldron, so you better slap on Sentinel Shield and not Ward of Dawn for this one. Then, after that, Grenade doesn't matter. We're going to be using the shield throw melee. I just went ahead and used vortex grenades because that's the one I like the most. Then for aspects, offensive bulwark to get that additional shield throw, which makes Doomfang Pauldrons even better. And I went with Bastion. It gives you overshield. Yeah, that's the whole reason. You could use control demolition instead of Bastion, I guess. It's just kind of up to you, whether you feel like making an entire room volatile is more important than getting more survivability. That's completely up to you. So let's just get into our fragments here. Echo of Provision. That's going to make our grenades give us more melee energy, which will give us more super energy. Yeah, and then Echo of Persistence, so that our overshield lasts longer. If you're not using Bastion, I would recommend using something else. Probably Echo of Instability. That way you can make more enemies volatile more often. Then I went ahead and did Echo of Leeching because we are focused on our melee a lot. So every time we get a melee final blow, we get health regen for ourselves and nearby allies. And it gives us resilience on top of that. And then Echo of Undermining, which will make our void grenades weaken targets. And now with our subclass out of the way, fully taken care of, let's move into our artifact. Another thing kind of like that, I guess. So basically, we don't care that much until the third column. I just put on Origin Perk Specialization. For the way I was running this build, it would have been more beneficial to run Thanatic Tangles. I just didn't. But Elemental Orbs Void, of course, is going to be good. Elemental Fury, Communal Pickups, Refreshing Pickups, Monochromatic Maestro, and finally Elemental Munitions. Really, this artifact doesn't benefit this build that much other than like Monochromatic Maestro, because we are more focused on our ability regen. So yeah, this I guess refreshing pickups could help you, but in general this artifact isn't helping you that much with this build. But we don't need to run surge mods. One, because of Monochromatic Maestro, but two, Doomfang Pauldrons does that for us. So let's use some void weapons. Personally, I used the title with a pugilist swashbuckler roll so I could get more melees more often and deal more damage after getting a melee kill. Because swashbuckler times 5 and void bonus damage times 4 or 5. Of course, other weapons you could use if you'd prefer. Monte Carlo would be excellent with this build, giving you your melee more often, giving you more super energy. Or maybe Traveler's Chosen. It could be a void kinetic slot weapon because it has osmosis. It gives you all your energy back with its perk. So, maybe that would be a good option too. Or if something has like pugilist osmosis in the kinetic slot or wellspring osmosis in kinetic slot, which I don't think there are any, but if there is, that might be something to look out for too. But because I have a title that I really liked for this build, I went ahead and I made my exotic the Leviathan's Breath. Honestly, that could change. For a while I was using Retrofit Escapade, but Leviathan's Breath, it's a high damage void weapon, so it just kind of fit the build pretty well. And until its return, it's one of my favorite shotguns in the game. I have it crafted, Enhance Overflow, Enhance Cascade Point, so whenever I get those precision hits, if a boss comes close to me, I'm dumping like 20 rounds into it and then walking away. That's really fun to do. Alright, what mods are we using in our armor? We're just gonna start at the class item, Outreach, 2 of them, with Reaper. Not exactly sure why I chose this specifically. Basically, placing our barricade makes Reaper proc, meaning we make orbs, and Outreach is, we get reduced melee cooldown whenever we use our class ability. So, like, it's pretty good for a melee build. And then going to our boots, I use Absolution. So every time I pick up an orb, every cooldown is faster. And then I grabbed Invigoration. So my melee cooldown is reduced every time I pick up an orb. Void Scavenger, so my void weapons get more ammo. That was really easy, being that scav mods are 1 in the artifact right now. So 1 point of my energy went to a scavenger. Chest piece, honestly, doesn't matter. If you want void reserves or reserves matching whatever ammo you're using, cool. If you want to focus on resistance, hey, I don't blame you. I use emergency reinforcement with some resistance mods, and that's it. Then in our Doomfang pauldrons, we're going to slot in melee kickstart, so that whenever we throw our shield, we get energy back for it, and then momentum transfer, which means whenever we deal damage with a grenade, our melee is cooled down faster, which stacks with our, one of our fragments, which is really nice. So you throw a grenade and you get your melee back pretty much. Then helmet. Harmonic Siphon is going to be your best friend if you're using like the title or another void weapon that has pugilists on it. But after that, I put on heavy ammo finder, and I just threw on a heavy ammo scout along with it to massively benefit my use of elemental munitions. If I ever pick up one of my orbs and throw it at a horde of enemies, my whole fire team's getting a bunch of heavy ammo. That's just plain and simple right there. Yeah, I really enjoyed this build. I know it's not like meta or anything. Like, Ward of Dawn is generally better, except in certain circumstances like GM Nightfalls and to an extent some raid encounters. But at that point, you're not really running Doomfangs. Most of the time, you're running Ursa Furiosa. So if you're just looking for a build to have fun with and you're not worried about your DPS, then, like, you might try out Doomfang pauldrons. They did get buffed. They give you the non-stacking damage buff every time you get one void melee kill, one charge void melee kill. And, after every few kills with a void weapon, it also gives you stacks. It's pretty good. The non-stacking damage buff isn't my favorite way to rework exotics, but it's a nice touch to it. It's an exotic that's underused, but it's because it's a super that isn't fantastic, but it does make it a lot better. So yeah, that's about it. Please try this build out. It's pretty fun, especially in like lower level content, admittedly, but still fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, probably next week, releasing some builds for the rest of the season that are going to be focusing on the reworks to exotics and stasis for next season. So keep an eye out on that. Probably doing either Shards of Galanor or Celestial Nighthawk next week. Anyways, see you next time.